The Bibles in Schools program is defending its position in more than 700 schools around the country. Yesterday, the leader of Auckland's St Matthew in the city told us there's no place for religion in state schools.
To have Bibles in schools, in public schools, is an imposition on the religious freedom of others.
Simmon Greening from the Church's Education Commission, which runs the program, disagrees, and he's here with us now. Thank you for coming in. Before we start, we just need to clear up. Ron was just talking about this quote that describes schools as mission fields.
Yes.
That wasn't you that said it, it was someone in your organisation, is that right?
Yes, and I've spoken to that person. Of course, the purpose of our organisation is really to educate kids about Christianity in a state school context, but we definitely do not view schools as mission fields, and I've already spoken to that person and clarified our policy as an organisation.
Okay, so what exactly does your organisation do? Tell us exactly what happens when you go into the schools.
Sure, so we basically provide Christian religious education in around about 750 schools throughout New Zealand, primary schools, and we have teams of volunteer teachers, great volunteers who go in week after week and teach children essentially Bible-based values. So for example, this morning after this interview, I'm going along to a school and I'm teaching the kids about compassion, and then I use a Bible story. Another teacher will be teaching about honesty and using a Bible story to reinforce those core values. We use a curriculum that has already been approved by the Ministry of Education. It's been approved by school boards, and this curriculum is linked with the New Zealand curriculum, which has 8 core values, and we're there to reinforce these values and use Bible stories to reinforce them.
One of the criticisms yesterday from Reverend Nelson and some of the people that have written in on our Facebook page is that it's taking away freedom of choice.
Sure.
Christianity is one religion and there are so many others these days. Why should we be putting one onto kids? What would you say to that?
Sure, so I actually practice part-time as a lawyer in a community law centre. I'm passionate about human rights. I'm an advocate for human rights. But let's put this on the table. The Human Rights Commission actually released a paper on this subject back in 2008. They pointed out that when we go into a school and teach CRE, we're not discriminating on the ground of religious belief. The issue is about the opt-out side of things. So making sure that a child who decides to opt out of the program, we make sure that they're treated with sensitivity and respect. And in terms of numbers opting out, for example, in my class, there's only 2 kids that opt out. The class next door, there's 1 student that opts out of the class. So that's the issue. The Human Rights Commission says this is not discriminatory, and it's quite a complicated issue actually trying to reconcile the Education Act with the Bill of Rights, which promotes the freedom of religion. So it's not discriminatory. The Human Rights Commission has made that point. A court has never actually made a ruling on the subject, and we just want to make sure that kids who do opt out feel safe and feel respected. Is
it up to the child whether they can opt out, or is it their parents? And that becomes quite a blurred line, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, obviously it's up to the parents at that age. We're talking about primary school level here, not secondary school, so absolutely it comes back to the parents. But we want the program to be of such quality that the kids really enjoy it, they have fun there, they learn. Look, it's a harmless program. We sing songs with them, we teach them a little bit, they have activity books that they fill out, and that's the end. And we're talking about a half-hour lesson. In fact, my lesson's 25 minutes, so it's not exactly a huge part of the day.
In this day and age, I mean, more prominent, I mean, we have a lot of religions around now, a more multicultural society. Is it fair then to be disregarding other religions in a course like this?
So we say to schools, if you'd like to bring in other providers who would like to teach other religious perspectives, absolutely go ahead and do that. So we're not, again, we're not discriminating against other religious beliefs or persuasions. We're saying to schools it's up for them to decide. But generally speaking, the Education Act just says religious instruction. But in the 1960s, when Parliament actually drafted this piece of legislation, they were probably thinking Christian religious instruction because of the world back in the 1960s. Now we live in a global village, and we believe actually kids learning about religion, and particularly learning about Christianity, but all religions, is part of a well-rounded education.
Simmon Greening, thank you for joining us this morning,
No
and
problem.
I'm sure we will get further feedback on